What is Craig Jones really like? What's it like traveling and working with him? And how do we make our videos together? You gave me your questions on Reddit. I filmed the answers. Then I went to South America and Africa with Craig. But now I'm back. It's time to spill the tea. What is Craig like when he's being serious? If he's ever serious. There's two kinds of Craigs on the road. There's the kind that's like driven by pettiness and anger and launching tournaments and trying to make content and marketing, and he's just focused. Like from the moment he wakes up fucking early. He's just there stewing and thinking of ideas and thinking ways to troll people. And that's a very serious man. It's a very focused man. And then there's the man who's tired from traveling all the time and looks like a fucking zombie. And even the pharmaceutical drugs can't help him. How many times a week does Craig roll when he's abroad, and how many douchebags try to hurt him? This actually happens all the time. Everywhere we go, every gym we go into, and you'll see a bunch of people just staring like and breathing heavily, and you know they're trouble from the start. And then usually when it comes to rolling time, they just put their hand up and just barge right in like full autism.
Go. Let's go.
Like, let me go in there and let me try and prove to the world and earn my CJI ticket by beating Craig at a charity seminar. And this happens a lot. Have you seen the video where he's teaching a camp and then he submits it? Yes, Craig injures people a lot of times when we're on the road. I don't think it's because he's trying to be necessarily reckless, but he isn't happy when he injures you. So you've probably done something wrong. He's generally a very nice partner, very flowy. You can see that if people have a great time rolling with him. But I've seen a look in his eye. And I know it's a look of, I'm gonna injure this uninsured man. And I've seen it a bunch of times, and surely enough, he injures you. And then not only does he injure you in front of your friends and your training partners, he then puts it on the internet. And then he calls his friends and tells all his friends about it. So that's what happens when he injures you. No sympathy. Is your Jiu-Jitsu black level? It is not. I'm a brown belt and a mediocre one at that. I do train Jiu-Jitsu, and when I go to these seminars, like one of the most common questions I get is, oh, like, are you training all the time because you're traveling with Craig? I mean, no, because he doesn't train all the time. And when he is training, you know, I feel like my job is there to film it. But also when I go in these gyms, you got a lot of weird motherfuckers staring at me, thinking I can't take Craig, but maybe this small Indian guy. And I can tell people I beat up someone from B Team, but the joke's on them, because I'm not from B Team. What's the favorite place y'all have been, and how many parts on balloons can we expect? I'd say recency bias. South America is like a whole new world for me. They all speak Spanish. It's beautiful, it's green, it's like Southeast Asia, but it's not. There's this undertone of violence the whole time and danger, and I really liked it. And the people are really friendly. And yeah, so I'd probably say South America. Before that was Romania, because in Romania, everyone's good looking, everyone kind of looks like a vampire. And there's witches, and I don't know. For parts I'm blown. A lot of people think I shot that series. It was actually shot with a big team in Bali. Are there more episodes coming? It took a total of 1.5 episodes for them to get deported from a country. That was the country Kazakhstan. So I don't think so. Do you even train, bro? My dream in Jiu-Jitsu is to get to purple belt. And when I got to it, I realized like I'm so close to brown, and I am brown. So I was like, I need to get to brown just so I can, you know, let me get my fucking belt. I earned this shit. Let me get the belt. This is my brown belt for you, my brown homies. I haven't actually worn it since I got it. It means a lot to me. Matches my skin. I do train. I just haven't done gi in a while. So what's Craig's most likable trait? I didn't know if we get along. He'd be a dick. What kind of dick? I didn't know. And he's turned out to be really easy to work with and travel with. His most unlikable trait is inherent to who he is, which is his sense of adventure, meaning he doesn't plan very far ahead. And I have a fiance, I live in a different country. The reason our content feels so like we just wing it all is because we do. So it's hard to balance the two, like planning versus chaos, but it does also make my personal life chaotic because I can't plan where the fuck I'm gonna be. How pissed were you when you got tricked into the war zone in Ukraine? He didn't, you know, I mean, he said it'd be safer than it was. Does that count as tricking? I mean, if you go to a war zone and you're surprised it's dangerous, I don't know what to tell you. I was not mad when I got tricked in the war zone in Ukraine. I was mad when he almost killed me in Area 51 when we got lost in the desert. In Area 51, I died like a dehydrated lost Indian with an Australian fucking idiot who decided to not follow the path and wing his way back down a mountain made of crumbly dust. And we were lost for like 2 hours. Yeah. And yeah, I don't want to die in America. It seems like a lame place to die. Very pedestrian. I want to die somewhere exotic. You know, shoot me out of a cannon in fucking Venezuela. Any advice on which organizations are easy or hard to work with? Everyone's difficult to work with. It's really hard to make things and videos because it's supposed to be a communal effort. I work around that by making videos myself, but typically you have to work with people, organizations, there's funding, there's a lot of shit involved. So my suggestion is if you want to make content, just make it. Don't work with anybody unless you have to. And just film it yourself. Don't ask for a budget, don't ask for any favors. Make what you want, the way you want to, and then get people to pay you to do that in that order. Because you're unproven in the beginning. That's the advice. This is caffeinated advice. How does working with Craig compare to previous filmmaking production jobs you've ever had? I think I'll start with the honest truth, which is Craig is one of the best collaborators I've ever had. It's the truth, you know, it's hard to find people that are easy to collaborate with, but Craig kind of knows what he wants, but just leaves it to me. Really, he lives his life. He just lives his life. His life is super interesting. I follow him around with a camera. I try not to die. And that's really how it works. And there's a lot of trust. We're both big film nerds, so he does appreciate the craft. And I think that's why it's hard for him to make videos sometimes, because it's hard to find somebody to collaborate with that gives a fuck as much as you give a fuck. I think it also doesn't hurt that I don't want to be Craig. A lot of people that enter his universe start thinking, hey, start losing their fucking minds and thinking they are Craig. I'm not. I'm a 40-year-old Indian man who likes to make videos and make comedy. And so that's who I am and that's what I do. And then I travel with this guy who lives this crazy life. And I think it's important to know who you are and what you want. What's been the most memorable thing for you last year to wrap up CJ, from online interactions to actively creating a new event? So number one, watching people receive millions of dollars for grappling. Watching Nicky Rod get that check was crazy. It's for grappling and he got a check for $1 million. Watching the tournament itself, CJI, go from like this little idea to like a real physical event with people cheering and buying merch. That was kind of crazy, watching that ramp up and the marketing. Gabby getting her standing ovation was really touching. Meeting fans and viewers of the videos. Like when you watch our videos, it means a lot to me. I'm fucking working hard. I'm not sleeping. Half the times I'm editing overnight. So if you watch and you like it, fucking more power to you and thank you, because that's what motivates me to make videos. And last but not least, just making comedy is great. You know, my dream, my lifelong dream has been to make comedy. It's a pleasure to make it with somebody I generally think is funny. And I really appreciate that he brings me on the road with him for some of these adventures. It's wild and it's exhausting and a dream come true, and it's surreal. It's super, super surreal. What's the most dangerous situation you've been in outside of Ukraine? I'd say I've been lost in mountains, I've been shot at, I've been to sanctioned countries. But the most dangerous situation was probably when I first filmed that face-off with Gabby and Hinato and Craig in the cowboy hat. Hinato went hard from the jump. I mean, he called her a pig within like 1 second.
Are you drinking my you pig?
And she could have flipped and killed all of us. Editing that overnight is one of the greatest creative experiences of my life. It was super stressful, but I remember we got it done and we loved it, and we went out to party after because we deserved to, because that's a goddamn iconic video. Do you intentionally look like a Southeast Asian Craig, or is that happy coincidence? That's a compliment, I believe. It's a happy coincidence. He looks bigger than me in photos, but actually we're about the same size in real life. I think it's just camera tricks. Craig's favorite way to spend time aside from rolling? Trolling. Trolling rhymes with rolling, except he enjoys it way more. And honestly, he's probably better at trolling than he is at rolling. How long have you been making videos for? I'm assuming this was something you wanted to do with growing up, or is this mainly a side project that turned into something bigger? I've been making videos my whole life. It's all I've ever wanted to do. It's all I've ever been obsessed with. In particular, comedy and documentaries. I really like stuff that feels real and stuff that feels funny. I had a corporate career, 14 years, where I did production. I also did business. I also did content strategy. I kind of learned that whole game, and then quit with no plans, started making videos for fun for YouTube. Some of them caught Craig's eye, and then we started collaborating for free just because I just wanted to make videos, and I volunteered to do it. And then when it came time for CJI and he had a bit of budget, he remembered that desperate Indian man who's been bugging him to make videos. who's responsible and handsome. We hit the road together and haven't looked back since. Have you ever seen people tap Craig out? If so, with what sub? I've never seen anyone tap Craig out. I've never seen anyone even come close. That is why he's a god amongst gay men. I've only seen him tap out of relationships. Did Craig finally go to swimming pool? So this swimming pool thing is hilarious. You know, we have a local host in every country, and this host kept pestering Craig to go to the pool.
Can't just message me now, come to the pool. Are you fucking kidding me? He said pleasant pool temperature. Fuck, you gotta be kidding.
Craig is not there on holiday. We're there to work. It's the road to CJI. Craig was going insane and he wanted to kill him. And he kept saying, come to the pool, temperature is beautiful, blah, blah. I wasn't sure whether to include this in the series we made or not. And then I did, because we found it funny, or at least I found it funny. It ended up catching on really well. And come to the pool is a phrase people still utter, and it's pretty amazing. And it just shows you never know, you put it out and people may resonate with it or not. But he did go to the pool. He's been to the pool many times, and he often pees in the pool. Who writes the captions for Craig's posts? Who comes up with the first comment? He always lands the first joke before anybody else can. Great observation. Craig knows how social media works really well. Craig writes everything himself, but we do bounce ideas off each other sometimes, or music, and it's my favorite thing to do. It's super fun to write and make comedy, and the economy of words and all of that. And he also plans captions in advance on purpose. This is for engagement, and so no one steals the good jokes. No one steals the good jokes. What's your camera setup? Because your production is amazing. First of all, thank you for saying my production is amazing. It makes me feel good. You know, it makes me feel like a brown belt in production. I use a Sony FX3 with a mic on top. That's just for convenience and laziness. I only have one lens, it's a zoom lens. Really good for comedy and documentaries to be able to zoom in sometimes on things. And I don't want to mic people, I want the energy to stay the same, which means the audio is not perfect, but it means we can be spontaneous. We get a lot of complaint about the sound in our video, as we should, and that's all I'm going to say about that. What is the process of producing an episode from start to finish? How is working with Craig different than any other gig you've ever had? That's a really good actual question. So let's give it some thought. The process to making our videos from start to finish is very simple. Craig decides something excites him. There's an adventure he wants to go on. We then go on said adventure. I start filming, and I film whatever I want. Like, he is pretty open and gives me a lot of freedom. So I just literally film whatever the fuck I want, and then have to deal with it in the edit, where I try and craft this madness, like shit that's been smeared on a wall of a insane asylum, into a story. And that's what I do. And the edit is really difficult because we're traveling and we didn't plan anything ahead. But ultimately it comes together, and I think people seem to like the product. So that's how our videos are made. I'm a professional photographer and like to work for CJI. Could I contact you about it? No. Please don't. Contact admin@fightfoundation.com. Any BTS details about the trip to Ukraine and getting shot at? Yeah, we're at a firing range, and then they said they'll give us 10 minutes to take some selfies of the car we just destroyed, and then exactly 10 minutes they didn't ask you to start firing, and bullets were whizzing past us. How much cocaine on a monthly basis do you guys consume together? Have y'all double teamed Gabby? Craig is too pale for Gabby. Even I'm too pale for Gabby. She likes her men extra dark and UFC Hall of Fame material. That's all I'll say about Gabby and her love life. Is Craig a good wingman? His friends seem to get laid despite their personalities and looks, so I have to say yes. How many girls does Craig get? Craig gets a lot of women. He is the Magic Johnson of Jiu-Jitsu in more ways than one. I have a lot of sympathy for your wife. Thank you, so do I. Are you also a part of Charles Oliveira's team? Is that because of my hair color? I wish I was part of Oliveira's team. What happened in Sedona? Where is Sedona? Sedona is in Arizona. I think we met Sugar Sean O'Malley and then went to a strip club and left. But I mix up Albuquerque and Arizona all the time. So, you know, what do you want? I'm not from there. All right, I think I answered all the questions. It took more than fucking 10 times the amount of time I thought it would. Thank you for your questions. I'm glad to be making videos again. I'm grateful for my job making videos with Craig. I got a lot of shit lined up with him that's coming up soon. Then we're gonna travel. CJI 2025 is coming. If you have any more questions, put them in the comments here so I don't have to go to Reddit again. Outside of that, I love you and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.